Somebody call an ambulance, but not for me. Oh my goodness. Aston Villa have just gone to Brighton and Hove Albion, who haven't lost in a million years in the Premier League. And we've just gone and not just won at Brighton, but absolutely laid the smackdown 3-0. And I'm talking about a stone cold stunner. I'm talking about a rock bottom. I'm talking about a Hulk Hogan's leg drop, Bret Hart sharpshooter, the lot. That is an absolutely unbelievable result. Amazing. Wow. I mean, look, all season long, I've been saying about Aston Villa, I've been stressed out. I've not quite felt that Villa have been able to find the form that we did last season, particularly in the league, despite the fact we've had such amazing moments, particularly in Europe. We've had a fantastic run in Champions League, particularly in the FA Cup. We've had a great run in that as well. But in the Premier League, it has felt like it's been very difficult for us to find the kind of form that Aston Villa are capable of. However, is it a coincidence that since Villa have finally, as The Rock would say, been able to play somewhat of a full-strength team, they finally are able to go out and just sweep teams away? And not just sweep them away, not concede goals. All season long, we've been in games where we've had 20-minute spells where we've looked great, and then we fall apart. We lose control for 30 minutes. We look like the worst under-11 team in the Central Warwickshire Leagues of Birmingham. And then we're back to being all right. But in that spell, we will concede. And all season, there's a reason we're on minus goal difference, though we're near to neutral now. And all season long, it has felt like, when is the moment going to come when we're going to have a statement result in the league? And I swear on my life, me and one of my best mates in the world, before this game, we were chatting away on WhatsApp, and he said to me that he thought, maybe there'd be a statement result today. And I actually thought, I think the statement result might be coming against Forest. I just feel like they've got a few injuries. I feel like we've got momentum building. I feel like at home we're a team that can just, on the day, it can happen and it can click and we can batter some teams. But I actually thought today we'd get a result. I felt like the momentum was there. But to make that statement result tonight, to have that 3-0 win tonight at Brighton, given the Premier League form they're in, is amazing. It comes at a spell when, as I said, there's been that big break. We've gone into that FA Cup game at Preston. Horrible little day away, that is. And you go there and you get the result, 3-0. And you just feel like, can Villa get that win and then build on it now? And can use that as momentum as we're now into the final straight of the season? We've been running 800 meters all season. We're coming into the final straight. You can see the finish line. You can see the podium. You can see the medals flashing. And you think, there's all these people around you bashing you. Joe Ellington from Newcastle grabbing you around the throat. Some Chelsea players trying to take out your knee or whatever. You look at it, you think, it's there. Now, can we keep the pace? And in the end, can we set the pace? And, a few weeks ago, I'd have said absolutely not. When we drew against 10 men Ipswich at home, I thought absolutely not. We're just done. We've just dropped too many points at home. But suddenly, since maybe mid-February, start of February, things have started to turn, and you have to say those January signings look like they might just make the big difference. They certainly did tonight. Marcus Rashford, Marco Asensio, Daniel Malen. 3 January transfer window signings come in, and all 3 of them score fantastic goals and get us the win that we needed. It's just the power of being in the Champions League. That is what it is, right? The power of being a Champions League team, being a regular European team. The fact is that in January, because you're in the Champions League, you can attract players of that level. Daniel Malen, a Champions League finalist. Marco Asensio, a player who scored in the Champions League final, won it 4 times with Real Madrid. You've got Marcus Rashford, a player who's won the Europa League with Man United, a player who's won the FA Cup with Man United, a player who's basically been one of Man United's best players for the last, however long, in England international, all that. So you can bring that level of player in, and suddenly you're seeing this is it. This is the difference they can make. And so now Aston Villa go away tonight to Brighton. And look, Brighton fans who might be watching, wondering what Villa fans are saying about this. Look, I think the break, the big long break, the international break, the FA Cup break, I think that probably came at a bad time for Brighton, given the form they were in. They were just in a run of form where it really felt like they found themselves, and they were starting to. It felt like they could probably take anybody on and get a result. That break probably hasn't helped them. Then having to play 120 minutes against Nottingham Forest and then going and losing on penalties, that obviously hasn't helped as well. But I think tonight in the game, I've not really spoken about the game yet. I'll mention it now. Tonight in the game, I thought that at first, if it went kind of how I predicted, I thought it would be pretty even. I thought Villa would probably have to soak up quite a lot of pressure. I thought the ball would probably get its way out to Mitoma a lot, which it did. Very good player, isn't he, Mitoma? Always looking to create something. A lot of his runs are really good. I see there's a lot of comments coming in. I will get to them in a second. And then on top of that, you've got, João Pedro as well, who's a fantastic technical player. And there were moments for him in the first half where you could see when he got the ball, he'd find a moment of space, make a little clever pass. And he looks to me like a player who, if he was at, like a Liverpool or somewhere like that, in the sort of role of Firmino, I think Sam Ty, the broadcaster, maybe compared him to Firmino. I think that's a really good comparison. It's very similar, actually. And so I think, but then first half, it felt like neither team were particularly the better, but it felt like either one could nick a goal, didn't it? But the thing is, when Villa broke, we weren't really getting anything out on the right. I think the first half, Rodgers and McGinn were pretty quiet out that side, but a lot of it came down the left. And through Boubacar Kamara, who, I mean, I don't want to belabor the point, but I mean, fecking hell. Like, if you can't see how good that man is, check yourself into One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and sit next to Jack Nicholson and just let Nurse Ratchford do whatever she needs to do to your brain to try and fix it. Because, I mean, the guy is. I won't belabor the point, but you can all see it tonight. Incredible. And probably not a coincidence that since Boubacar Kamara got fit and returned to the team, Aston Villa's form has gone from wavy to upward trajectory. So, yes, that was good. Please like, please subscribe, please follow. That really helps us keep on growing. Please comment. Please leave your comments. Please like and all that. And please share. Let everyone know we're around or whatever. Anyway, so yes, first half, but then came the big decision in the first half. Jacob Ramsey been taken out by, I think it was Jack Hinchelwoods. I think it was. That was a penalty, right? That was such a blatant penalty that for the rest of that half, there was about 5 minutes left in the half. I sat in a kind of state of utter bewilderment and delirium, staring into the distance, barely able to believe what I had just witnessed. That you could seriously be on VAR, look at that and think, nah. I mean, I even had a Brighton fan get in touch with me on Blue Sky and tell me that was clearly a penalty. Now, look, I'm not going to go on about it because Villa have won and I don't want to bring the tone down or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, there is not a conspiracy in football, right? Referees are not part of some grand conspiracy to help the so-called Big Six, right? It's just, let's not get into all that, right? On this podcast, we want to be level-headed. I know I talk a lot of, I go mental a lot of the time, but let's be fair-minded here. Referees are not, there's not a conspiracy. Referees are not purposely trying to hold down teams, whatever. We get decisions as well, against big teams at times as well. But what I will say is that I just feel this season there has been game after game after game after game that I can reel off decision after decision after decision where referees fundamentally are making incompetent, poor decisions, right? Mistakes. I think of Sam Moores at Ipswich should have been red carded. Marcus Rashford, when he was playing for United against Villa, should have been red carded. Both of them taken off to protect themselves. I think of Elliot Anderson going through the back of Matty Cash should have been a booking. Forest go on and win the game through that foul. I think of Arsenal game I went to and sat there live and watched like an absolutely surreal number of decisions go Arsenal's way that absolutely were clearly Villa. So like I said, I don't want to belabor the point. I don't want to go on and on. But again tonight, that Jacob Ramsey decision was, to me, a referee. Right, fair enough, he can't make his mind up. But what they're looking at VAR, how they cannot see that's a penalty, it's just incomprehensible, and it's sheer incompetence. And it feels like something has to give here because it's just not good enough. Like, it consistently not good enough. And I'm saying this as someone who doesn't care about it. I don't want to focus on referees, but I've had to talk about it far more than I ever wanted to this season because I just want to talk about Villa. That's it, really. A really poor decision again, and one that I think absolutely should have been a penalty. And something's got to give with the way VAR's done, referees done. Maybe VAR has led referees to be more cautious about making decisions. I think VAR will bail them out. It was a penalty. So, yeah. But fortunately for us, it didn't cost us. Okay. So, second half, again, pretty even to start with. But Aston Villa, you could feel it on the break throughout first half. You could feel like there might be a moment. And Brighton get, a set piece down their end. Comes to Emery Martinez, quick throw to Morgan Rogers. Now, Rogers, who'd been quiet all game, once or twice he got the ball and been wasteful with it, as sometimes he can be. But this is why Emery leaves this man on the pitch, and it's why he never drops him. It's because Emery knows he has a moment in him. The Steven Gerrard moments of magic. I'd say if I had Morgan Rogers, I'd still be Villa manager. No, he wouldn't. But Morgan Rogers gets the ball, and on his weaker foot, his left foot, he has the vision to see Rashford, and Rashford's run as well. By the way, he takes himself away from the Brighton defenders. Van der Brugge, I've forgotten his name. Pulls himself away, stays on side as well. Doesn't get overexcited. Leaves himself enough room to then have the one-on-one. The ball from Rogers is absolutely awesome. What a ball that is over the top. We caught them out on the break as we'd been threatening to do in the first half. And then Rashford, one-on-one. What a finish. Now, the thing is with Rashford, he's done really well for Villa since he's come in. Lots of assists, particularly off the left. Now, he's played up front for us twice in the 3 times because he played a little bit up front against Brugge. And it felt like when he went up front against Brugge after Watkins got injured, there were runs he was making that Villa players weren't quite catching. And it was almost like because there was just a lack of familiarity between the two in those positions. But then we go and play at Preston. And again, all game, you're thinking, Rashford, the moves he was making that weren't quite being picked out. Then, finally, Dean makes a pass into Rashford. Really good pass from Dean. Rashford does really well to hold his position. And a really good finish for Rashford. Then he gets that penalty. And, Rashford's been getting the key assists, but you do want him to get a goal. And he got that goal at the exact perfect time. Because what did I say? You're coming into that final straight. You're wrestling with Newcastle. You're wrestling with Brighton, with Man City, with Chelsea. All these teams pushing for the top 5. You're elbowing them. You're punching them. The low blow. If you're Newcastle, it's a headbutt, whatever. And you need that extra bit of energy to get you through to the end, don't you? You need to find that just a way to just push on and get away from everybody else. And Marcus Rashford getting that goal on Sunday feels like a shot in the arm that might just get us to something very special. Because tonight he's just gone and added to it by scoring again by playing in the number 9 role. So the fact is now with Aston Villa, he's contributing at a high level up front and he's contributing at a high level out on the left. Brilliant. That makes me feel like something special might be building this season. It might be, Anyway, Villa then now, from what I was listening from the commentary, they seem to be kind of saying that Villa got a bit lucky with the handball off Matoma, right, for Brighton's goal. that was disallowed from Adingra. It was a handball. The first time I saw it, it was like, it's just a handball. And I don't really know why this is taking so long to make a decision when the ball's like landed here. Like it's on it's the bicep and basically the elbow. So what's the controversy here? I see lots of comments coming through. I'll get to them in a sec. What's the controversy here? It's clearly a handball. Again, Brighton fans might say, well, it balances itself out in the first half, Villa penalty, blah, blah. No, first half, and I'm not saying this is a biased Villa fan. I like to think I'm pretty unbiased. I think I'm pretty fair-minded, if I do say so myself, even though I do want to write Shakespearean poetry about Villa every single moment of my life. But the first half, it's a penalty on Jacob Ramsey. It's not a handball from Villa, which was, went to VAR. And then it's a handball off Matoma because it hits his bicep and his elbow. So it's a hand. It just is. So there we go. So you could say Villa got away with it a little bit. We got a little bit lucky that maybe Matoma didn't touch it off his chest, but it's handball. So there you go. End of. Now Villa. Then you see the power of substitutions. Finally, we have a full strength squad. I think there's various reasons as to why we've been patchy all season. There's never any bloody control in games until recently. Suddenly, we're keeping clean sheets. We won at Brentford away 1-0, 3-0 away at Preston, 3-1 away at Brugge, 3-0 at home against Brugge, 2-0 at home against Cardiff. But the ones I'd pick out there, particularly are Brentford away and Brighton away. They're two really tough away days. Really tough. Two teams that have players that can score for fun. And the fact is we've kept clean sheets in both of them. And in both games, we've done it by being a bit ugly. We're not necessarily playing like bloody prime Barcelona, but we're doing it in a way that's like we're just ugly. We're getting into a good shape. We're not really giving away too many chances. And then when the opportunity comes to just hit them on the break, we're making it count. And I think the substitutions really made a difference. When you're able to bring on Donyell Malen, Amadou Onana, Marco Asensio all at once, and Ollie Watkins, there's few teams in world football can bring on players at that level, let alone four of them. And they came on and they all contributed, all of them. And when Onana came on, again, it was something that, because Onana and Kamara have been injured all bloody season. So again, it probably hints at why our form's been all over the place. When Onana came on today, Kamara obviously is our out and out centre midfielder. He is it, right? He is our star. Everybody else is a planet that hovers around our star. But Amadou Onana comes on, and what he does is, particularly when Villa are in the lead and don't need to be the progressive side, Onana just wins them fouls. He's that big physical presence who just can slide in at the last second and win the fouls or win the tackles that our other players can't win. He puts himself about, and then on top of that, he's good on the ball as well. He just adds a physical presence that in the last 20, 30 minutes of a game away from home where you just need to hold on to a lead and then maybe extend that lead, he is a perfect substitute for that. It just brilliant to bring him on. And then from there, Villa, we just sort of held out. We invited pressure. There was one moment where Brighton had 83% possession to Villa's 17. But can you think of any chances they really created with all that possession? I can't. And then on the break, Villa always had that chance, didn't they? Just like Arsenal away last season, 2-0. Very, very similar circumstance. And Matty Cash gets the ball. What an absolutely brilliant ball from Matty Cash. And he, again, a player who's at times criticised by the Villa fan base. At times, when he gets into the final third, could be more productive, you'd think. But he's such an industrious player. He's such an athletic player that I think he actually contributes a lot more to us than I think maybe we quite realise. And I think tonight, again, I think there were times when he struggled with Matoma in the first half, but Matoma's a fantastic player and his runs were really intelligent. But I think Cash still added something, just his athleticism and being there. And tonight, again, a fantastic ball beyond the defence into Morgan Rogers. And Rogers, again, second assist of the game, just took his time, waited, picked out Asensio, and what a finish from Marco Asensio. Bloody hell. Is he the best technical player I have ever seen at Aston Villa? Now, if I think of technical players at Aston Villa, I think Jack Grealish, absolute genius of a player, he was. But beyond that, I'm having to go back to maybe Paul Merson, technically wonderful player. I'm having to go back to Gordon Cowans. And to be honest, I only caught the very, very tail end of Gordon Cowans. So I don't quite remember him in the same way that Villa fans maybe followed him through the 80s. Remember him? I only remember, I had very vague memories of the early 90s of Sid. I think you look at Asensio and what he is a typical, Spain produces lots of technical, brilliant football players, doesn't it? Like he is the typical type of player who comes out of Spain, just technically a marvel. But he's that style of player, but to a Real Madrid level. And you can see why he was such a star at Real Madrid, because obviously I follow La Liga very closely. I've been watching Real Madrid for years, and I remember him at Real Madrid very vividly. And he was a star. He was their guy. He was the local Spanish lad coming through and come through the academy and contributed heavily for years. And he didn't just go there and play 20 games a season as substitutes. He played over 30 games a season regularly. He was in a Champions League final. He scored a Champions League final. He was a really key player for for Real Madrid. He's coming to Aston Villa, and he just looks absolutely fantastic. The English league just doesn't look like a problem at all. The way we play suits him, and he brings the best out of other players as well. Again, I'm going to make a bit of a random reference here. I dare bring up Birmingham City, but 22 years ago, they brought in Christophe Dugarry. And Dugarry was a France international who won the World Cup. He was a Barcelona player, PSG player. And he came in, and Birmingham City had the likes of Jeff Horsfield, whoever. But Dugarry came in and was clearly, laughably, far too good for the jabronis that are Birmingham City. But he kept them up, and he kept them up with some absolutely insanely brilliant individual performances. But what he did was rising tides lift all boats, and he brought the best out of players around him that perhaps never quite realised they could reach the levels they reached. Now, I hate to bring up Birmingham City as a reference, but it's just something that I do quite remember very vividly, just because all my bloody friends at school who were Blues fans wouldn't shut the hell up about it. But when you think now of Asensio at Villa, I think there really is a good chance that we are bringing the best out of Asensio, the way we play, the way we set up. But Asensio also, he has to be bringing the best out of players around him as well. He's just been an absolutely stellar signing so far. And to be quite frank, you could compare it to Coutinho a couple of years ago and say Coutinho came in and had. The thing is, Coutinho didn't have these many good performances. He didn't score these many goals. Didn't have these many assists. He just didn't. He had 2 or 3 absolutely brilliant performances, but that was it. And you could see there were warning signs towards the end of that season that physically he might not quite be up for it anymore. And you look at Asensio, and I think this is a guy who can keep doing this for about 2 or 3 years. It just looks brilliant. And if the opportunity is there to sign him this summer, again, look, it's early to say all this. We'll find out. We'll find out towards the end of the season how everything goes and what happens. But looking at him right now, if there's a reasonable price and a reasonable wage to be had, it looks like an absolute no bloody brainer. It really does. Anyway, a fantastic finish on his weaker foot as well, and a great ball from Cash, a great bit of play from Rogers as well. 2-0 away. It reminded me of the Arsenal game last season. Brilliant performance. And then from there, 10 minutes injury time. I mean, Christ only knows where that came from. Yet again, I'm asking questions about what the hell is going on in officiating this season. Was it the case that they looked at Brighton made 4 subs, Villa made 4 subs? But the thing is, like, those subs all happened all at once. So it's not like they added on 30 seconds individually each. Where did 10 minutes come from? But I mean, whatever. I mean, it ended up benefiting Villa, bizarrely. But look, we brought Disasi on again, another example of January signings and what the hell is going on with our squad. It's just the fact we've got a full strength squad now. It is special. Anyway, Villa get the ball forward again on the break. Asensio gets the ball. I think it was Asensio. Ball into Daniel Malen. Malen has, it's not an easy chance at all. You're thinking he can hit a shot from here and, we'll see what happens. Hits it hard and low across the goalkeeper. I see comments coming through. I'll get some mistake. Hard and low across the keeper and absolutely fantastic. And to be honest, Daniel Malen, another player who, questions about his consistency. He hadn't had a good season at Borussia Dortmund at all this year. But I tell you what, I know Marlon's not exactly played loads for Villa this season. But when he has played, he's looked really good. He's made real differences. He's a real hassle. And again, he's very versatile. And I think that goal's been coming for him. And do you know what? I don't think that's the last big goal we're going to see from him at all this season either. It was a fantastic finish. And 3-0, what a result. And, that is a brilliant, and maybe arguably outside of the Champions League, our best Premier League result of the season. And we've been needing a statement result in the Premier League for a long time. We finally bloody got it. Finally. I guess you could argue Chelsea 2-1 was a statement result. That was a big result. Again, Asensio 2 goals, Rashford with the assists. But what you can say is full strength squad. So you see them substitutions. Anana comes on, Asensio, Disasi, Malen, and Ollie Watkins. And you got all those players come on. You got Marcus Rashford there coming off, Tielemans coming off. You got McGinn moving positions. You've got Ramsey coming off. All of these players been fit. Suddenly, you look at the Champions League, you look at the FA Cup, and you look at our attempt to get into Champions League places, or at minimum the Europa League places in the Premier League this season. And you feel, is something special brewing here? Is something special brewing here? Why not believe it? And you've got to, Villa had to start winning recently. We've gone and beaten Chelsea in the Premier League. We've gone and beaten Brentford away in the Premier League. We've gone and beaten Brighton away in the Premier League. That is massive. That is absolutely massive. Forest at home on Saturday. Again, if we can win that, absolutely enormous result. And then Southampton, then it's Newcastle. Like I say, I mean, a few weeks ago, I just thought we'd blown it against Ipswich at home, playing 10 men for an hour. I thought we'd blown it. But the players are fit. They hit the firing. If the squad can stay fit, particularly if Boubacar Kamara can stay fit to the end of the season as a starting player, suddenly you just start to wonder, PSG looks it's a big ask, and they are the favourites. But can we do it? When Liverpool won the Champions League in 2005, that was a pretty that wasn't Liverpool of now. That wasn't Liverpool club. That was a Jimmy Traore Liverpool. That was a poor Liverpool side, dragged through it by Steven Gerrard and Xabi Alonso, really. And they won it. I think Unai Emery looks at Champions League and thinks we can win it. I really do. And why not? Why not? This is awesome. So yeah, look, massive momentum building, exactly what it needed to be. Now let's get to the comments. I'm sorry, I've rabbited on there. I could talk for bloody England, can't I? Dub J, good to see you, Dub J. Huge result, mate. Huge, massive result, huge and massive. I mean, you go to New York City and you look at all the towers in New York City. You see the Empire State Building. You see Trump Tower, folks. I tell you, Trump Tower. He'd tell you that it's the tallest tower in New York. Tallest tower in New York, Trump Tower it is. No, the Empire State's building taller. Freedom, what's it called now? What World Trade Center's bigger. All these pencil buildings. What, mate? Trump Tower's not the biggest. No, it's the biggest, folks. I tell you. Well, whatever. Anyway, you look at all them towers. That is how big it was for Villa to win today. In fact, it was bigger than that. Massive, huge monster result, mate. You're hitting all the buzzwords. Absolutely. Sean Elliott. Good to see you, Sean. Huge result, Frankie. What a squad we have. UTV. Yeah, absolutely. Massive, Sean. Villa Samba Brazil. Good to see you, Brazil. I dare to dream. It's Douglas Luiz tuning in from Turin, where he's playing for Juventus. Yes, from Brazil. Boa sorte. Obrigado. Obrigado, my friend. Massive result, mate, innit? Massive. Good. God, I love it. I love people watching in Brazil. This is amazing. You know, you're in one of the most beautiful countries. You could be out there on the Copacabana beach, but instead, you know, you're out here watching this. Good on you. Clean sheet too. Absolutely, Dub J. Clean sheets. We've been begging for them all season. Finally, they've started coming. Pretty amazing, right? Something's changing. Richard Placentino coming good at the right time. Absolutely, Richard. Well put. Black Country Villain, good to see you again, mate. Thank you so much for your support of this podcast. Great result and another clean sheet. Absolutely. Big mention of the clean sheet again. Yeah. Dub J, to be fair to Brighton, will feel sick with that result. We just had the quality. Yeah, I think Brighton probably come out of it thinking it's not like we played terribly. It's not like we really deserved to lose 3-0. But I just think it was Villa's tactics were hit them on the break and see what happens, invite the pressure, and the tactics just worked out perfectly. And when the chances came, we took them. And sometimes that can happen when a team does that to you. And it's on another day, you know, we don't take our chances on the break and they maybe get a goal and that's it. It's just the risk it takes. And I think for a long spells in that game, they look quite even. But in the end, we deserved that. Gary Howlett, fantastic win, Frankie, but that ref and pen decision with 10 minutes injury time was unbelievable. Absolutely, Gary. Good to hear from you again, Gary. Yeah, absolutely. It was like I said, I won't belabor the point again, but I'm just stunned that it's just been a poor year for referees, and something's got to change. Something's got to change there. Decky, yes, good to see you again, Decky. Quality over quantity tonight. You know, yeah, true. Although I guess you could argue as well, quantity is in squad wise. Yeah, you know, it's good to have the players on the bench, isn't it? Yeah. Back to basics. Good to hear from you. Back to basics. Don't think I've seen you on this channel before. One game at a time. Forest next win here, and we are the team to fear. Yes, absolutely. I think if we can get a win against Forest, particularly, that was the game I've really been looking ahead to and thinking, I think that's the one. I think that is the one where they're in high form. They're loving life. Let's go there and just bring them down to earth. And I think that is the game we can do it. I really do. Decky, yes. Only 3 points in it now, and games starting to balance up too. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, God, if there's games this season that we've blown points so many times, if we'd not done that, then God, we'd be absolutely firm favourites for Champions League again, wouldn't we? Dub J, so happy for Malen quality finish. Absolutely. I mean, he's been really good for Villa. He's had to be patient. He's had to show good attitude as well, because he's been on the bench a lot, even though he's been playing well when he's played, and obviously not getting in the Champions League squad. Obviously, that can't have been good for him. But the fact that he's come through it, and you see his body language is really positive. He's a big smiler. He's trying. He's hustle. He's bustle. He's a bloody awkward player. Fantastic. You know, brilliant. And you know, Leon Bailey's not been fit, but the fact Marlon's been playing well, Rodgers as well outright, is meant we haven't quite missed him really. Gary Howlett, Asensio is just a perfect sub. Yeah, he's the perfect starter. He's the perfect sub. He's just he's an amazing player. Michael Huggins, love you, Michael. You're a top guy, brilliant person. Thank you so much again for your comment. What can I say? I'm very proud of them all. Please like, please subscribe to the channel. That just helps us so much. Please click that subscribe. The rules are, if you don't subscribe, you support Birmingham City. I didn't write the rules. It's in the notebook somewhere. I think maybe Mark Zuckerberg wrote them. Yeah, whatever. What can I say? But same as you, Michael. I'm proud of this team. Honestly, since Emery walked in the door, it's been just one long dream. I have just constant pride and this team doing things that throughout my lifetime. It's been very rare that Aston Villa do. The Villa of old just don't do this. They don't. We crapped on the Seagulls, yeah. I like that. Yeah, we did. Marcus, clean sheet City. Yeah, it is. Finally. Chris Hunt, good to hear from you, Chris. Thank you for your comment. UTV, absolutely. Gary, still in shock about that penalty and non sending off. Unbelievable, wasn't it, mate? Dub J, officiating bonkers. It was just, God only knows. Except ruling out of their goal. Yeah. I mean, at least they gave that. I mean, but again, it took them so long to make the decision. I've got a beer here, by the way. This is Forest Road Brewing. It's called Posh Lager. It's not very posh. It's not posh at all. I don't know why they call it Posh Lager. It's posh at all. But Forest Road, it's in London, mate. Do you know what I mean? I'm down here in Cockney Land, aren't I? Got a mate called Bob and Weave Steve. I'm a West Ham fan. Do you know what I mean, mate? Great beer. Really good. If you can track it down, I recommend it. Good old beer. But I want some local Brummy beers if you can. If you can give me some recommendations for that as well, I'll take it and get some on the channel. Gary Howlett, give him what he wants. Is that Professor Unai? I'll give him whatever. Well, not everything, but I give him a contract, whatever he wants, whatever. Duncan Coleman, good to hear from you again, Duncan. Good friend of the channel. Thank you so much for your comment. Great first goal from Malen with a big player for us next season. Yes, I agree, mate. I think he'll be a huge player for us next season. He's like I say, consistency wasn't quite there at Dortmund, but I think at Villa, if you're a player who's not in great, if you're a player who is of a top level or has threatened to be of a top level or has been of a top level, but isn't quite consistent enough, Aston Villa to me looks like the rehab centre. It's the place to go and sort yourself out. Unai Emery is the perfect coach. Aston Villa is the perfect climate. There's not as much pressure as the goldfish bowls of places like Man United or whatever. It's a positive environment. Come to Aston Villa, and I think even a player like, let's say, Jadon Sancho, right, or Joao Felix would come to Villa. Felix would not be struggling away at Milan. He'd not be struggling away at Chelsea. If he'd gone to Villa, he'd have had a great time. I think if someone like Jadon Sancho went to Villa, again, I think he'd suddenly start to show the kind of form that it's just deserted him. Sean Elliott has to be one of the best midfielders in the country. Such superb technicians in there. Tielemans and Kamara, absolutely. And then to have Nana and McGinn as sort of your kind of backups, I mean, that's absolutely brilliant. It's a brilliant midfield. Yeah, they're fantastic midfielders. Mark Huggins, I love to see that. Huggy and Kilbers, love it. Gary Howlett, VAR, just can't get it right. Human error again. Yeah. They're just afraid to make decisions. I'm convinced that's part of it. Why wasn't it given to the TV monitor? That's the penalty, I think, first half. Yeah, it was a disgraceful decision. Awful. If we lost that game because of the decision, I would have smashed TV. Same. Gary, Martinez was dodgy tonight. I mean, for the disallowed goal he made, an uncharacteristically poor error. He was slightly risky with holding onto the ball for the bookings at the end, the time wasting. I fear one of these days is going to be a referee who's just going to go, I'm going to make a name for myself by sending this guy off. So he does need to be careful. But I think still, I think we take for granted how good a keeper he is. The amount of times he just came out and caught the ball, he just exerted himself. He gets the ball, and on the ball, he makes the right pass. He holds the ball as long as he needs to. He's just an absolutely world-class player. Best keeper in the world. Handball all day, Dub J. It was. Yeah, from Mitoma. Absolutely. 5-second decisions. Yeah, a couple of them were just like, that's a penalty to Ramsey, clearly, and that's a handball to Brighton, to Villa. I mean, what more are we? Why are we taking 20 years to make a decision here? With a bench like this, we can turn games now. Absolutely. We are Brighton's bogey team, but still need to get the job done, to be fair. Yeah, same. Yeah, we do seem to have it over them a bit, but they've been in brilliant form recently, and great result for us. Watkins needs to beat Gabby's record, then he can go in the summer. Yeah, God, I wanted to beat that record so much. Quality and depth, says Dub J. There's no substitute for quality. That's the bottom line. Absolutely. Jhon hasn't scored yet this season, only a couple of assists. Not sure if he can still perform at this level anymore. McGinn's, he's been in and out with injuries. He's had to play a variety of different roles. I think it's just his mere presence. And I was given a stat this week that he's the most tackle-resistant player in the league. And if you think about it, yeah, and it's the amount that's, I know he's not getting the numbers this season with assists and goals, but it's the way he can just hold onto the ball, get your team up the pitch. It makes a big difference. And what he does off the pitch as well, big. The sense is possibly the best players ever played for Villa. That is saying something. Platt, Merson closest. He's almost certainly the most decorated player who's ever played for Villa, with the multiple Champions Leagues he's got and the Real Madrid history he's got as well. There's not many players in our history we've ever had who've had that kind of background. I think he needs to be a bit longer. There's an argument to say, is he the best technical player who's ever played for Villa? It's almost certainly an argument for that. He's just unbelievable. He looks naturally one of the most gifted players I've ever seen in my life. He's brilliant. Deck, yes, what a coup by Uno to get these players in. Absolutely. Gary Hallett, Asensio has a degree in technical wizardry, same course as Harry Potter did. Absolutely. Asensio, he wins the Quidditch prizes, doesn't he? Harry Potter would he'd fall off his bloody broom. The sorting hat would just go into retirement. All of them, Professor Snape would cry tears of joy and actually being a good move for once if he saw bloody Asensio playing Quidditch. Duncan Kilburn, it's one of the mysteries of football how Dougal ever played for Small Heath. It really is, mate. I mean, it was unbelievable. Our subs are changing, saving games. Yeah, they are. Asensio, Rashford, and Malen and Rodgers are all perfect Unai players. To be fair, ball carrying side forwards, basically. Yeah, exactly right. They absolutely suit the system we're in. Villaman, Cloudy, get in there, Frankie. Good to hear from you, Villaman, Cloudy again. Yeah. Get in, mate. Gary, dodgy team who stopped watching. Yeah, mate, probably. John Donovan, good to hear from you, John. Not sure I've seen your name on here before. Unai, man of the match. I love the man. Love him. Villa Forever Puck. Chad, one of my good friends. Absolutely brilliant guy. One of the most inspiring Aston Villa inspiring human beings you'll ever meet in your life. Does a brilliant podcast channel. Please go and follow the Villa Forever podcast. Please go and look it up now. Please follow them. Please follow Chad. Fantastic interview. One of the best podcasts out there, let alone Villa podcast, football podcast. We can put out a good second team and still win. We have such a strong bench. We have so many options. New players making big impact. We have very good momentum as well. All of that. All of it, mate. Absolutely true. Makes such a difference. James, well, good to hear from you again, James. Good. Thanks so much for your comment. Even all UTV, what a win. Yeah. Massive win. Flange, good to hear from you as well. Flange, big friend of the channel. Follow. Yeah, follow all Villa, no filler. I take that. Also, did I tell you? Have I told you? So I got a DM this week. I'll talk about this at length with George in a few days' time. But I got a DM this week saying that all Villa, no filler came up as a question on Tipping Point, an ITV show, not a mainstream ITV quiz show. And I thought, this has got to be a wind-up. Like, nah. You misheard this, mate. No way. Nick James on Twitter was the guy to let me know. So I thought, all right, I'll look up the date this was the broadcast, right? So I looked it up and I sort of watched it and I thought, well, maybe something's come up that he thinks is maybe something sounds like all Villa. So I brought it up. And then it got to about 20 minutes in. And then he goes, Ben Shepherd, the presenter, goes, The podcast, the football podcast, All Villa, No Filler, is about which Premier League club? And the guy went, pass. Aston Villa. I've never had a more jaw-dropping moment in my life. How in the world did All Villa, No Filler, this poxy little bloody podcast that I rant on, how on earth did we come up as a quiz question on one of ITV's most watched quiz shows, Tipping Point? Ben Shepherd said our name on it. What? Why? How? If anybody, if you work on Tipping Point, if you work as a producer and you follow this podcast, you love it. Thank you so much for having us on. It genuinely is the highlight of my bloody life. Amazing. I want to know how this happened because it's just. I feel like it was an April Fool. Just unbelievable. But it's true. I'll get the clip up for you if I can at some point. Hi, Flange, says Duncan. It's happening, lads, says John Donovan. Yeah, we're winning something. It's coming. Dub Jakes, tell him we're not missing the earlier reliance super sub Duran. Yes, very true. Good point. Made some superb signings in Jan. Yep, we did. Good business moving him on. Yep, it was. I really feel the squad can come together now. Yeah, same here, mate. Bolg the villain. Good to hear from you, Bolg. You always comment on the channel. Thanks so much. So I'm like, yes, UTV, absolutely. Gary Hallett, John who? Absolutely. He's out there in Saudi. Where? Saudi who? Who cares? See you later, mate. Villaman Clardy, good to hear you again, mate. The missus is here, Frankie. Hello. I tried flirting with her earlier, but she only has eyes for you. Well, thank you very much. There's not many women in this world who had eyes for me, mainly because when I was in the dating field, I would go, "How you doing? Yeah, what's your name? Oh, yeah, great. Did you hear about Aston Villa's result this weekend? Where you going? Where you going? Do you want my number? Don't you want to hear about Aston Villa's home record from the year 1995-96? No? How about you? Would you like my name? Yeah, my name's Frankie. Yeah. What's your name? Jessica. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Jessica. Oh, that sounds a little bit like a Stoke player called who used to play for Stoke called Hesse. Used to play for Real Madrid and PSG, just like Marco Asensio. Have you heard of Marco Asensio? No. Where you going? That generally was my dating life. Yeah. Gary Howlett, most consistent, exactly the right time. Exactly right, mate. Kevin Jeans, good to hear from you again, Kevin. Massive momentum, huge belief due to 6 wins on the bounce. Injuries clearing up. We're on a roll. Bring it all on, mate. Bring it on. If we can just stay injury-free to the end of the season like we haven't all season long, particularly if Kamara can stay fit, mate, you look at that FA Cup, you look at that Champions League, you look at that top 5, it feels like something's happening, doesn't it? Big Jhon. He did his bit, got us back by and winning some other crucial goals. Oh, don't not. Yeah, look, I mean, I think in years to come, we'll look back on him as like a bizarre shooting star. You look up at the night sky and you see the stars that glisten in the darkest nights. And they inspire you, and you look up and you think that's what Aston Villa players are. That's here for years, and you look at them and they're there forever and you love them. But Jhon Duran was like that shooting star, mad, wild, and he was only here briefly. But my God, when he was here briefly, it was beautiful, wasn't it? And that's what he was. He was a shooting star in Villa's history. Seemed like a bit of a nuisance off the pitch. We made the right decision to move him on. But he left us with that, particularly that Bayern goal, but with some memories that we'll never forget. WJ, absolutely. I mean, have more options and depth now. Absolutely, we do. Duncan, Unai wants Champions League. He does. Unai Emery is not here to waste time. Unai Emery is not here to play games. He's not here to play chess. Unai Emery ain't here to sit on a sunbed and get he ain't here to test how good the restaurants are on the Baltic Triangle because he heard rumours about great curries in Birmingham. He ain't here to go to the best microbreweries in Kings Heath and Moseley. Mate, he's here to win something. And Unai Emery is a man who's won 4 Europa Leagues. He's won multiple trophies in France. He's won the league in France. He's won multiple titles wherever he's gone. He got Villarreal to a Champions League semi-final. Lads, ladies, boys, girls, children of all ages, Aston Villa can feckin' well win something this season. And not just this season. He's here till 2029. Unai Emery knows something's happening here. And as fans, we know it as well. Gary Howlett. Bournemouth losing, obviously Brighton back in the mix. Bournemouth losing to Ipswich at home. It's all just come apart at the seams for Bournemouth, doesn't it? They've run out of steam at just the right time for us. Just the right time. We got them away as well. Yeah, one less team to worry about, it looks like. Beating Brighton as well. They lost to Forest the FA Cup. They just lost 3 at home to Villa. Hopefully that now means they're going to get shaky. So it could mean that minimum Europa League for Aston Villa. That would be brilliant. Bring it on. Kevin Jeans, win every game on its merits, 100% focus in our hands. As Unai Emery himself would say, focus. Yep. Villa man Cloudy, we've got to get to that 60 points or marks or better. Give us a great chance of getting 5th. That has to be our goal in the league. Yeah. What points are we on now? Haven't really looked at it, actually, just since. We're 7th place, 48 points. So 12 more from 8 games to get to 60. I look at Newcastle. Chelsea, the ones I think might drop out. I just think Chelsea are there to be got at. I think City annoyingly will probably just get the results they need. Newcastle, yeah. I do fear we left it a bit late to get Champions League, but who knows? James Wood makes up for last season when we played well and got nothing at Brighton. Absolutely, yeah. Do you remember that? That was such a frustrating game. And Olsen saved the penalty and it bounced back out to João Pedro in the last minute. bloody annoying that. But we made up for it tonight. Mike H, 15 more cup finals to go. Yes, that's the way we've got to look at it, Mikey. Gary Hallett, how will Forest play at the weekend? Well, a lot of injuries. Chris Wood's not fit. Ina's not fit. They'll hit us on the break. They will obviously do what they always do and create chances. They'll sit deep. But I just think Villa have the players at home. Do you know what I think it's building up towards? Do you remember 2 years ago when we beat Newcastle 3-0 at home? And that was at a point where Villa would just inform. And it was like Villa were just waiting to make that big, big result and say to everyone, this is our time now, dickheads, we're here. It feels to me like that Forest game is in a very similar predicament where Forest are riding high in the league like Newcastle were at that point. They weren't losing. They were in really good form. It looked like they weren't going to lose to anybody. And then Villa just turn up absolutely on form, go at them, press them hard from the first minute. Don't give them a minute to rest. Don't let them go on the break. Just piss them off and get a goal and then just absolutely beat them into the ground. Beat them. And that is what I think this is what it's queued up for on Saturday. Do it. Villaman cloudy counter-attack from Forest. Yep, almost certainly they'll try it. They're very good at it. They'll create chances from it for sure. They play like we used to under O'Neill. Forest, yes, they do. They really do. The difference is, I guess, is that they've just got a striker this season that's been scoring pretty much every chance that's been coming to him. Pretty amazing. They've probably overachieved a little bit. But look, I mean, you can't begrudge them. I mean, it is fantastic to see Forest, back in the Premier League, a fantastic team, a historical club, who I think it's been such a tragedy what happened to them for the last 25 years, really. They get back to the Premier League, and you can't begrudge their fans to experience this. But in the end, I don't care when they're playing Aston Villa. I want us to beat them. Perfect result. With a full-strength squad, we can beat anyone. Do you know what, DJ? Mate, thank you for your comment. Absolutely. Please like, please subscribe, please share. Please subscribe. Please click that subscribe button. It helps us so much. Hopefully no wood, says Gary Howlett. Yep. Playing for New Zealand, got injured against the Cook Islands. So what a way to get injured. Chad from Villa Forever podcast. If we win a trophy this season, I'm getting an Emery tattoo, I promise. Do you know what, Chad? I'll get it with you. I've been saying for years I'll get Unai Emery's face tattooed on mine. I think my fiance won't like it. I think that every time I'm going for a job interview, they look at me and go, okay. Why do you have another man's face tattooed on your face? And I'll say, well, because Unai Emery won us the FA Cup and won us the Champions League, and I don't fucking care about anything anymore, and I'm getting tattooed on my face. And do you know what? Look at my back, and it's just a giant tattoo of bloody Morgan Rogers with angel wings or something. That's how insane I am. That's how much. So me and you, Chad, let's get down that tattoo parlor and get Unai Emery right there. Savas Veli, good to hear from you again, Savas. Professional, tough, and streetwise away performance. Streetwise, good word. Yeah, absolutely. Professional, tough. And that's what we like from Villa. Again, this season, it's just felt like we've not been able to exert control in games. And the more you look at it, you do have to say those Kamara injuries, the Onana injuries, just the lack of consistency in midfield and defence, constant injuries. It has to have had an impact. It has to. And now everybody's fit. Suddenly things are looking a bit better, aren't they? Flange, hey, Dunk. I like to see friendship on it. It's great. Great win tonight again, Flange. Yeah, absolutely. Villa and Clyde. If we win a trophy, I'll get the Villa villain tattooed on me somewhere. Oh, I like that. Good. Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Villa villain. I'll get him tattooed, sneaking off with something. Kind of want it on my hand so everyone can see it. Yeah. The Villa villain, just somewhere around there. Or maybe behind my ear. He's sneaking off behind my ears. Sneaking. He's behind the ears, his hiding place. He's just sneaking off. That'd be good, wouldn't it? Flange with the love eyes, love that. Felix will sign for us in the summer. Well, it's the rumour that won't go away. He needs to go. When he went to Chelsea, I literally said, what an idiotic decision. It's not going to work. He'll hate it. It'll be in and out of the team. Lo and behold, he's on loan already to AC Milan. In the summer, in January, we'll link with him again. He's gone to Milan, and I thought, it won't work there either. He needs to go to Aston Villa. He needs to play for Unai Emery. That is where he needs to be. And unfortunately for him, I think he's left it too late. I kind of hope we don't sign him now. I just don't. Joao Felix might not be in control of his career. It might be agents. Is it Mendes? Maybe is his agent. Maybe. He's in last chance saloon. It's over. It's over. It's Saudi Arabia or it's somewhere like Villa. He should go to Villa. But in the end, if we sign Asensio, Rashford, if we can't afford Joao Felix, well, he missed his chance. Villa man, Cloudy, that heart for me, it's looking at me. Yeah, it's looking at all of us, isn't it? We're all feeling the hearts. Shane Arbor, Boise. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Good to hear from you, Shane. I think you commented on here before. Absolutely brilliant, Frankie. Had a bit of luck tonight, but still made it better with the chances were there. Great for Rashford, proving point with prime opposition. What do you think about against Forest? As I said, Shane, yeah, they're there to be beaten. Beat them. Marco has to sign. I hope so, Flangy. I hope so. Salvesvelli, love when Vidigani and Monchi greet the players after the game. Shouts out together. This club are. Do you know what? Aston Villa during my lifetime have never looked like we've got this much connection top to bottom of the club. It feels like in every single way, it is all connected. We've just got to the Youth Cup final. We've got a women's team that, all right, haven't done so well this season, but are a team that are taken seriously. We're trying. It looks like it's going to take a bit of time for us to get to a really good level with the women's team. But look, we've got a women's team that we take seriously. We've got a youth team that's got to yet another final, as we won it a few years ago, beating Man United. We've got a team from top to bottom that is connected, a manager who cares. It is owners who are there for the long haul, owners who look like they know what the hell they're doing. You contrast that with a lot of other clubs like, say, Manchester United or Tottenham, and we've got to be the envy of a lot of fan bases. Things are going well here, mate. Villaman Clyde, we've got to pull out all the stops on Rush and Asensio, in my opinion. Yeah, if we get Europe next season, it's looking like get them in. Defa Marco, though, just fits our style. Yeah, Marco Asensio over 2 years. If we can make it work with the wages with Asensio and Rashford, get it done. DJ, Malen will get more important goals for us than our remaining goals. He would definitely be a massive impact player like Diaby Bailey last season. Yeah, and to be honest, Diaby in the first half of the season, we really missed his contribution. Asensio coming in is really, in that number 10 role, is contributing the numbers that we just weren't having in the first half of the season. Sign Asensio and hopefully puts to bed the Felix talks. Yeah, James, exactly as I said, agree with you, mate. Sappy from Ireland, been wanting to see him play for ages now. Prove the doubters wrong. Writing him off, people were, yeah, mate. They were, mate. Every time he's played for Villa so far, he's looked brilliant. I think he's been playing really well. I really do. Mentioned on tipping point, unbelievable, mate. Like, how? What? How did the quiz guy just sit there and go, oh, here's a question. I go, all Villa no Villa. How has this come together? April Fool's on tipping point, maybe. If I thought it was, but it's there. Like the episodes, I'll get the clip. It's how the hell were we on tipping point? Unbelievable. Who knows? Turn Felix back to world class player he was. I think he would. I think he'd get the absolute best out of him. You're a star, then, mate. Tipping point. Yeah, we certainly makes me feel like I'm certainly something's different to what I thought it was. Maybe we're better known than I realised. Yes, Frankie. Yeah, thank you so much, Flangy. Call to the wild. Hello, yes, Rich tipping point. It's unbelievable, mate. How the hell did it happen? Richard Edwards, good to hear from you, mate. Richard again, good friend of the show. Yes, Frankie. Yeah, what a night. He's about to read it, Flangelo. Oh no. Good to see the connections here. Geordie Villain, good to hear from you again, Geordie. Thank you so much. You've written really nice things about us before. Evening to you as well. Richard Edwards, here we go. Match of the day. Oh, God. Yeah, I can watch that. Catch up. I'm excited. Thanks for reminding me. Felix has had 3 chances on Villa. Ship us out. Give the money to Kamara for his new contract. I'll agree with you, mate. Clean sheet FC. I know. Where's that come from, Richard? Where's it come from? We've been asking for it all bloody season. Finally, our defence has sorted out. And, having Powell, Disassi, Conser, and Mings all fit and all contributing, it's a huge help. We took 3 windows to get Asensio. Jones Uno knows his targets. Yeah, that's true. We were linked heavily. I did a whole episode on Marco Asensio 2 years ago when he joined PSG. And at the time, again, I thought the right move would have been Villa. Look, if Joao Felix walked in the door at Aston Villa, I'd 100% get behind him, and I think Unai Emery's going to bring the best out of this player in ways that no other team could. If Felix and Asensio were both there together, I mean, it's pretty exciting, isn't it? But yeah, I think instinctively I feel like the ship sailed, but yeah, who knows? Emery thing Villa. I think this might be the first time I see you here, Emery thing. Good to see you. I love the name. Well, a result will take wins against the run of play like that anytime. Yeah, and the thing is, like, the commentary was saying against the run of play, and the opposition Brighton were unlucky, but I think it's just the way we played. I think it was the game plan. The game plan worked, and I think in a way you can argue it's against the run of play, but I think it was kind of with play in a way as well. Like we went for the counter and we hit it, kind of like Arsenal away last season. Duran is the modern Carboni, basically a shooting star. Yeah, Carboni was a shooting star as well. Dragged us to an FA Cup final, didn't he, Carboni? I was at that game, 2000, last FA Cup final at the old Wembley against Chelsea. Oh, that was depressing. Let's hopefully it's different this time. It's happening. Agree with you, mate. You will agree with you, Flangy. Rich, that was our bench tonight, though. Love Arts. Yeah, absolutely unbelievable. I don't think we can play both feet essentially the same team. Yeah, it would require a shift. Maybe one could play out on the right. But I do sort of think if Bailey goes this summer, you're going to want some pace. Neither Asensio or Felix have that pace, but maybe Unai sees something he could do with the two of them together. Maybe, but it feels like they're both playing the 10 role, doesn't it? Jordan Villan kept saying it, and every week you get closer to it happening. But come Saturday night after a beat Forest, folks start believing me. Top 5 is still on. Geordie, mate, you're right. I was a doubter. I said it on here. I hold my hands up. After the Ipswich draw, I said it's gone. Champions League is gone. We just haven't been able to get the consistency this season. But this team prove you wrong all the time. There's an attitude to this team that is not like the Villa I've ever known in my life, ever. It's a team that just goes and wins when you don't expect it. Frankie goes to Hinchelwood. Relax, we won, Gary. Yeah, mate. I love that. Gary goes to Hinchelwood. Well, Frank goes to Hinchelwood. Kicking ass, taking names, Unai Emery football masterclass. As Stone Cold Steve Austin would say, kicking ass, whipping ass, and that's the bottom line. If you don't watch wrestling, you never knew Steve Austin. That was probably really random. But yeah, my voice is going. I've been talking way too long to the hour, so I probably should stop talking in a second. Felix, left midfield. Asensio, centre midfield. Malen, right midfield. Rashford, Watkins, striker. Yeah, that's a good argument. That could work. That could certainly work. And even just Asensio on the bench and Felix starting, and then if Asensio starting, Felix on the bench. Yeah, it could work. Could work. I mean, look, if it happened, I think there's a lot of teams in world football look at that and go, I wish I had them players. Her name is Flange. She was a showgirl with yellow feathers in her hair and a dress cut down to there. Everybody at the cop. Brilliant. Good lyrics. We've got some songwriters in here. I never knew. Bournemouth had a fantastic season for them. Doing so well with loads of injuries. Credit them, even though they lose every match now. Yeah, I love watching Bournemouth. I think they're a brilliant team. I think Semenyo is an absolutely fantastic player. I think it's a shame for them that it's petered out, but I think it's the style of play they have is so heavy metal football that it just lends itself to running out of steam like Bielsa teams. And I do think that I had thought if Bournemouth got Europe next season, they could collapse next year with the style they have. I think it's a slight warning sign. I've seen a lot of people say, we're Unai to leave one day. Iraola could be a replacement. I've seen him linked with the Tottenham job. I think I think you should look at what's happening in Bournemouth right now and think there's a bit of a warning there. Even if it's a top team, it could run out of steam. But then again, if he's at a top team, he'll have a deeper squad, so it could go further. But then they'll be in Europe as well and more games. It just lends itself to burnout. 5th FA Cup, Champions League, it's on. Why not? Why not, mate? I like your thinking, Duncan. I'm not so sure, but this summer it's going to be very interesting. Yeah, James, I think like you, I think I'm on Felix there. Yeah. Duncan's convincing me on how it could work. You're right. This summer's going to be interesting. Some interesting outs and some exciting ins. A lot of it depends where we finish. I think we're going to get Europe. I think at minimum Europa League. If we got Europa League, look, Champions League is what I want. If we get Europa League, you look at it and you think, I think we can win it. I think we can win the Europa League. Duncan, silverware's coming this season. Something's happening. We get in form at the right time. Absolutely, mate. Jude Bellingham at Real Madrid is sat there in a darkened room right now, staring into the distance, thinking, I can't believe of all the teams that's going to knock me out in the Champions League semi-final, it's going to be Aston Villa. That poor Birmingham City fan. He spent his entire life living in Villa's shadow and crying his eyes out every time Villa break Birmingham hearts. And now we're going to do it again. Dare to dream. It's not often I sound like I don't tend to be boastful. I'm only joking. It's all banter in it. It's just a bit of banter. Will be just my luck. First Wembley trip of my life. I'll be able to get tickets for LA. I'll still going there. Yeah, I'm desperate to get tickets for Wembley. I don't quite know. I'm a member at Villa, obviously. I've been to loads of games this season, but my booking record's not brilliant. Because a lot of it's been through friends, and I've not quite been able to build up the booking record. And obviously, I live in London, so the cost of going to Villa this season has gone up exponentially. So I've had to pick and choose quite heavily about which games to go to. I'm going to PSG in a couple of weeks, but I'm quite worried about getting a ticket for that. I'm going to desperately try and find one. I'm so desperate to go to those games. Fifth has always been on. We lost Folks' injury and all that, but the Jan window has been genius. We're looking to stop and train. Our mantra is coming. Do you know what, mate? What's that coming over the hill? Is it a monster? Is it a monster? You're damn right it's a monster. What was the name of the band who wrote that? I've forgotten now. What's that coming over the hill? They're looking, they're running fear. All the villagers running in fear from Marco Asensio stomping over. I just hope we can make Kamara and Loney's permanent. Agree with you, mate. Get that Kamara contract. RN Jesus. I think we might batter Forest on Saturday, UTV. Mate, I'm with you. I think it's coming. Just them in the summer, Duncan. I'll be happy with that. With you, Duncan. Kamara's a must. Who would we sign is better than those role bar Felix? Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, not sure. It'll be a tough game is what I think. Could go either way. We start slow, they'll pick us off. We start fast and take a chance to repeat them. Forest, Forest, I think I want us to play how we did against Newcastle and beat them 3-0. Just immediately, hard, fast, heavy, and say, I'm winning that ball, dickhead. Just let them know we're there. Let's get the likes up. Thank you. Please get the likes up. Thank you, Richard. Yeah, likes and subscribes really helps us. I've already had mine. Nobody, bro. James, I'm glad Rashford here, but think the lad needs to leave the UK and enjoy football somewhere else. Maybe the media digging up more all the time. Yeah, but then again, Villa is looking smiling. He's smiling. I've never seen him. I haven't seen him this happy in a long time. Like this content, and Villa is the perfect environment for him. And I think Villa's the perfect place for him. I really do. It's all clicking in place just at the right time, mate. Richard, you talk sense all the time. You're talking sense now. Absolutely. Villa man, our league position and finishes in the FA Cup and UCL will dictate the quality players we sign this summer. Yeah, even if we don't get Champions League, I still think Europa League is good enough to get some really exciting signings. If we don't get Europe at all, it's difficult. It is difficult. A rare season for Villa when we look our best in final third of the season, not seen that many times over the years. Yeah, agreed. Like in history, it's usually been when we get to February and it all falls apart. But instead, it's 2 years ago when we got Conference League, went on that run, big run to the end of the season. Last season, actually, we kind of lost. It was the start of last season, wasn't it? Really, we were really good. Towards the end of last season, we were a bit patchy. But towards the end of the season, it feels like the momentum's building, doesn't it? Oranges, I'm getting your face with Emery's face tattooed on it, tattooed on my knob if we win both cups. Is that me tattooed on your nether regions? Well, Why not? Meet with an Emery tattoo. Why not? And then I'll see you and be like, bloody hell, that's the best tattoo I've ever seen on your face. I don't want to see it down there. I prefer J. David or Delap, Jonathan David or Delap. My theory is Watkins might be leaving this summer. There might be a thing that Emery sees Marcus Rashford as a number 9, wants him as a number 9. And what if Watkins went for 50 million, 55? We brought in a player like Jonathan David on free, or we brought in a striker for 20 million and then had Rashford as another striker, as a left midfielder. And that was all funded by selling Watkins and Duran this year. I could see a world in which that happens, but then again, I will say about Watkins as well. I think he's a brilliant player, and I think you don't know what you got till it's gone. I think his contributions the last few years have been amazing. I think he's a fantastic player, but 29 years of age, it could be a world in which Villa, if there's a big bid, they take it. First goal is crucial against Forest. We did it at Forest and lost, notwithstanding a blank penalty in 9, a foul on Cash leads the winner. Again, talk about referees. That game just comes to mind. It was absolutely disgraceful, unbelievable. But yeah, I think if we get a first goal against Forest this weekend, I fancy us to just stomp on them. I do. Need 2 or 3 to put Forest to bed. You do, yeah. I mean, look, they're always a threat on the bright, and from set pieces as well. If you sign either of them, Watkins will have to be sold for either. Good shot. Yeah, like I said, I think there's. I've said it a couple of times recently. I think as well, Watkins goes this summer. We got screwed at Forest and Worcester when they equalised. We sat back. Yes, we did invite the pressure. Yeah, we were asking for trouble in that final 5 minutes. We got robbed. Kevin says Richard at Forest. We did. Won't happen on Saturday, says Geordie Villa. No, it won't. No, I've not had this level of belief all season. I've actually hated watching Villa for long spells this season. I've said it again. I've said it a lot. I've not enjoyed a lot of this season. I found it too stressful, and I've given up at points. I really have. But got to learn my lesson that I've been saying myself for the last 2 years. Never doubt this Villa team, man. Under Emery, just don't doubt them. Rashford needs to learn how to hold the ball up before we can replace Ollie with him, and how to lead the line, or we can. Yes, Rashford's hold-up play is not Watkins. His work rate is not quite Watkins, but what he does do, the runs he makes, I think you almost have to see him live to appreciate the runs. When I saw him against Brugge live up front, some of the runs he was making were absolutely amazing. And I think again against Preston the day, again good runs, and then today the run he made for the goal, absolutely brilliant football. So yeah, but there's attributes that Watkins has that Rashford doesn't. But I think there's a world in which we sign Rashford and sign a striker that's cheap, that is good at hold-up play and can just offer the two. Maybe. Sign a new system next season, maybe. Finishing the season like a train, will lift the summer and have a go at the title next season. Yeah, the run 2 seasons ago that got us into the Conference League, that form carried us into the next season, didn't it? And it's the start of that season, last season, the amazing run we had got us Champions League football. I think Aston Villa have to look at the Premier League title and think it's there to be won. And I would, in the past, I thought I was absolutely delusional to think that. But it's there to be won because Liverpool are losing key players this summer, and who knows how they'll replace them. They've got a sporting directors that are not proven. Salah will be impossible to replace if he goes, as will Van Dijk. Looks like Trent is going. Arsenal are in a mixed area. I think they'll spend huge this summer. We'll see how that goes. Chelsea are a basket case. Newcastle, interesting one to watch. We'll see how they do this summer. Whether they've learned the lessons from the last season with the Champions League, we'll see. There could be a team that look at it and think maybe it's on. Manchester City, obviously, but then again, I do wonder if it's the races run with Guardiola there. They're always going to be competitive. They're always going to be a brilliant side when they turn it on. But I just think Rodri comes back and it all changes, doesn't it? Maybe. And they can just buy whoever the hell they want. So they're lucky. But think about it like this. This summer, Manchester City and Chelsea are playing in the Club World Cup. Now, look, they're going to get revenues out of that are absolutely sickening. It's just sickening that those two clubs exist in the way they do because two nation states back to them. But they have to play this summer, and there's no club team ever have ever had to experience that. They don't know what's coming next season. And what could happen is that because of them playing in the summer, they start next season red hot and they win game after game until about November. But then when every other team gets up to full fitness, they might just start to feel it and they'll feel that they didn't have a break and the form goes out the window. Or they start next season in terrible form and just unfit. Either way, this summer has to impact them clubs. So you look at next season. If we can end this season on an amazing run and take that into next season, I would look at it and think the team that looks like the most likely to really stay up there because they're going to buy and almost certainly improve is probably Arsenal. But Liverpool, it's a question mark. Chelsea City are question marks. Newcastle probably in Villa's boat. It's on. Believe. Richard Edwards, I'd only want them if Watkins is sold. Don't think they could come back to be backup striker. Yeah. Dennis White. Oh, Dennis, good to hear from you, mate. Over from Ireland. I love all my Irish villains. Obviously, my full grandparents are Irish. I myself am Irish. Look what I have right here sitting in front of me. My Irish passport. There it is. So I'm officially Irish. I've always supported Ireland my entire life. Some of my happiest memories of watching football were supporting Ireland growing up. Jason McAtee's goal against the Netherlands to get us to the World Cup in 2002. In 1994, on my birthday when I was 8 years old, going around to my family to watch Ray Houghton score against Italy. Paul McGrath's great performance. Good to hear from you, Dennis. You to be Frankie. Great to finally catch you live, Dennis from Cork. I love Cork. Now, look, if you I've never been to Ireland. Ireland is a fantastic country to visit. There's probably a lot of people in the UK who've never been to Ireland who might think it's probably just quite similar to the UK. Yeah, there's a lot of similarities, but at the same time, it's actually very, very different. Ireland is culturally it is different. And if you go to any local village, you go to a pub, bands are playing. It's just lively. It's just brilliant. And southwest of Ireland, Cork, for instance, Ring of Kerry. Sorry, I'm turning this into Irish short, but I'll get back to Villa in a second. Ring of Kerry, get there. It is genuinely Villa Park is heaven. The Ring of Kerry is parallel heaven. It's close to it. Good to hear from Dennis. Delighted to see you on here, mate. Kevin G and Kev Dennis, if ever you're at Villa Park, let me know. I'd love to meet up with you. Kevin G's definitely robbed. I think that's about the Forest game. Yeah. Up the Villa. Good to hear from you, mate. Good to hear from you again. Why would you replace Ollie with Rashford? I guess you want a thin squad again. Yeah, I think I'm not saying I want Rashford to replace Watkins, but I think there's a world. I think the way I would argue is that I don't want Watkins to leave. I'm not saying that I want that. Like I say, you don't know what you got, so it's gone with Watkins. All round play, brilliant. But I just think there might be a world in which if Watkins goes for 55, 60 million, that's what funds bringing in another striker for maybe 2025 and then being able to sign Rashford. Rashford can play up front and he can play on the left. And maybe I could see a world in which Emery thinks that makes some economic sense. That's and Ollie at the ages he is. Maybe there's not another opportunity to take the fee that might come. We'll see. I'm not trying to say I want to say that. I'm not saying that. Watkins going in the summer, says Nigel Franklin. Good to hear from you, Nigel. I'm veering towards thinking it might happen. If Arsenal make a big bid, I can see it happening. But I love the man. Bold Villain at the Villa. Oh, Aston Villa, hottest place, Western Manila. Yeah, I've been to Bangkok and that was bloody hot. But yeah, Villa when it's stressful feels hotter than anywhere. Got him to sing for you. So Flange, great tune. I think we should enter it for Eurovision. We might win. Romance Ninja. Unai must stay. God, please, God, yeah. Ice cold Rashford. Yeah, what a finish that was tonight. Wembley tickets to forget if you're not on season ticket holder. Yeah, I'm on the waiting list. God only knows where I am on it though, mate. 69 chat. Ooh, saucy. Love it. Bloody hell, is that how many people are here? Yeah, I love it. Yeah, thank you so much for your comments. Please like, please subscribe. Malen first goal for Villa, red hot. Absolutely. Dennis, what's the PSG game? Oh, good on you, mate. Good on you, PSG. I think what I'll probably do there before the game, probably a bit in and out, but then after the game, I'll try and get to the Aston Social, the Aston Inn. Love going there after the game. So if you're a Villa fan, if you're going to be at PSG and you want to stick around after, I'll probably be there. Loving life, love it there, mate. What a place! And if Villa win, I was there after the Celtic game, and my God, the atmosphere was unreal in there. It was amazing. First and many, says Richard. Love it. First, I think that's trophies. You're heading across to Paris. Geordie Villain says, no. I was quoted a price for a ticket. Can't afford it. Very expensive. The ball from Rogers to Rashford was pure filth. Yeah, it was. It was absolutely unbelievable on his weaker foot as well. That's what, he was pretty rubbish today, Rogers, until he got that assist, and then he got another assist after it. That's why Unai always leaves him on, even when he's not performing, because he's what Steven Gerrard would have said, a moment of magic. Richard Hudson. Asensio will give Unai all the intel on PSG and how they set up and play our secret agent. Yeah, not really thought about that. Yeah, absolutely. Good to hear from you, Richard, as well. Good to hear from you again. 8 goals in 10 games for Asensio. Fucking hell, man. That is unbelievable. He's finishing. The thing is with his finishing, it's like he passes the ball into the net. It's unbelievable. Richard Ryan, good to hear from you, Richie, mate. Watkins is worth more staying. If Ollie Watkins stayed, I would be doing cartwheels because I love the man. And it would mean he might be on course for 100 goals for Aston Villa in the Premier League. It'd be good to have a player who's done that. Don't go shy me now, Flange. Just got Frankie to sing for you. Where you gone? LOL. Yeah, I haven't seen Flange for a while, actually. Dennis, well, hopefully not on the fleeting arm incident next weekend. VAR shafted us at the City ground. It did. Frustrating. Richard Edwards, Rashford 11 games, 6 starts, 3 goals, 5 assists. Yeah, he's got loads of assists. Now 3 goals. Yeah, that's red hot. Rashford and Asensio have proven themselves as some signings. Winter signing, sorry. Yeah, I have a feeling we'll batter Forest. Kevin says, yeah. Newcastle game coming to mind. I just think Forest are there. That Forest are asking for it. I don't think that brilliant. And I think so, it's just do it. Just go and bloody beat them. Supporting Villa is a roller coaster ride. It always has been. That's why we love the Villa. Yeah. There's times when I don't love it, but God, yeah, it is a roller coaster. As Ronan Keating once said, life is a roller coaster. Just got to ride it. Richard Edwards, yes, Frankie, good on you, mate. Nigel Franklin, Watkins going to Arsenal. I think they will be stronger. Yeah, they're certainly in the market for a striker. Benjamin Sesko. I have seen them linked with Gyökeres, Swedish sporting striker. That is the one I think they'll go for. I think if they've got big money, I think if I was them, I'd sign Gyökeres. Thought you were singing a Ronan Keating song for a minute there, James. There we go. Yeah, great minds think alike. Cloudy cheers, top man of the Villa. I wouldn't replace Ollie with anyone. Just saying, if he goes, Ollie might get sold for the PSR stuff. Yeah, that's my thinking. I think there's going to be big sales again this summer, just because of the nature of the way things are, and that could be one of them. Believe it or not, US English really like the Irish and always want them to do well in international football. I do anyway. Are you from the US? Cloudy, US? I got an American watcher. Interesting times in the US, isn't it? Thank you so much if you are from over there. I could do a tour of America with all the accents if you want. My favorite is Minnesota. It's Fargo. By golly gee, I love Aston Villa. My 2 of my brothers-in-law are Americans. One's from Orange County in California, and one's from Minnesota. So, and then my sister lives in New York. So, and then all my bloody family moved to America. It seems to be, of all my Irish family, we seem to be the only ones that went to the UK. I'm glad we did because it meant I got to go to Aston Villa But yeah, top man. Watkins will be sold. Another strike coming. Perhaps Cunha do that. Yeah. There's a world in which I could see something like that happening. We gave up our season when my kid had to start using wheelchair for games. First time. Oh, sorry to hear that. First time we've gotten back to Wembley since. Doesn't stop us traveling Europe though. Yeah, good on you, mate. Good on you. Good on you traveling for all that. That's what being a villain's all about, isn't it? We travel near and far. Newcastle so lucky. 2 question pens. If that was Villa, would be pens all day long. Yeah, I didn't. Newcastle won tonight, didn't they? 2-1 against Brentford. Yeah, I've watched a few games this season. There's games I think they're overrated. There's games I think they just play like a physical bloody Stoke team. But then, there's games I watch Joelinton, Guimaraes, and Tonali together in midfield, and that's a fantastic midfield. And then you've got Isak is an absolutely amazing striker. So they've got a serious team. They do. And they combine that physicality at times with actual real quality. But there have been a lot of games as well. I've seen this season where I've thought, they got away with that. But then I guess it's the same for every team, isn't it? Duncan Kilburn, understand living in London too far for a season ticket for me. Yeah, I mean, look, if I had a season ticket, I'd certainly go to the games more than I do. It's just ticket price, train prices in the UK are absolutely absurd, and then ticket prices of Villa have just gone up. So it's just got to the point where I've got to pick and choose now. It's gutting, but I've been to a lot of away games in London. I've been to a couple of home games in the league, and I've been to a couple of Champions League home games. So I've been to a fair bit, just not as many as I would have liked. First point of me at the Villa Social, Dennis. Thank you, mate. Can't wait to meet you. Like I said, hopefully I'll be there. I can't guarantee because sometimes things change. But my aim is I've been to usually the Villa Social after the game, so that's what I'll aim for. So if you're there, mate, can't wait to see you. Jordan, it's hard enough being up in Durham to see Villa being too far. Or London being too far. Weirdly, I still spend more time now that I go to a few games. Yeah, weirdly. Oddly, being away from Birmingham, I feel like my passion for Villa's grown further. Oddly, I didn't think that was possible, but maybe it's a sort of sense of home or something that it gives you. I don't know. Yeah, and I feel like when I talk about Villa hit down here, my accent naturally, because I feel my accent's gone quite neutral. But I feel like when I talk about Villa down here, I suddenly go a little bit more Brummy, just instinctively. Do you know what I mean, man? My accent when I was a kid used to sound like that. I used to sound like a Brummy. It's high pitched, like Solihull's, right? It was a bit like Grealish, like, for fuck's sake. It's like that. Like, what? A what? That's how I used to talk, and then that accent's all gone away. I don't know where it's gone. So flowed away. Yeah, weird, right? Anyway, enough of that. Us English, not US. Oh, okay. Us English. Yeah, look, I support England and Ireland. Grew up in England. My family's Irish. I support both. Why not? Love them both. All friends around here, aren't we? Geordie Villain, gotta go RL. Call in. Have a great night. Yeah, look, I'll call in a strap in a second. Thank you so much, Geordie, for tuning in. Please like, please subscribe. As in us, LOL. Us, yeah, not US, us. Capital Tiger Value. And Abdul Hannah. Good to hear from Abdul again. Thank you so much. Just at the end here. Well done, Frankie, for all the recognition rightfully deserved. Mate, that is so kind of you to say. Thank you so much. Love doing this. And the fact, we've won an award recently, which just blows my mind. And the fact we came up as a quiz question on Tipping Point. How did we come up as a quiz question on Tipping Point? How is this real? But it is. Like, what? Amazing. Chris Kelly, good to hear you, Chris. Could get used to for the winning always. Same, mate. It's not something I'm used to too often in my life, so you take it when it comes. Anyway, look, it's 11:30. Got work in the morning. I do want to see some of my match of the day. My voice is going. So, thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Means the world. What a win that was. 3-0. Huge. Something special is brewing. Would you bet against the Villa? I wouldn't. Up the mighty Villa.